Let me refresh.
I'm live. Can you see me?
No.
Are you serious? Really?
Wait, it's refreshing. It's refreshing. Let me see.
Is anyone here on YouTube that can see me?
Yes, I can see you.
Okay. You can see me on YouTube? You can see me on YouTube? Yes, I think we can see me on YouTube, yes? Yes. Okay, great. Thank you, Sabina. Now, all right. So, hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm going live on YouTube and we're on a Zoom. So there is some, a little bit of tech that I am still getting used to. But thank you all so much for being here. I really appreciate it. I'm just going to give people another couple minutes, maybe another 3 minutes to come on the live or come on the YouTube, come on the Zoom. There is a Zoom link in the chat on YouTube Live. And if you would prefer to go to a Zoom, please head over that way. I will be doing my best to check both chats when we get to the question section. So it's really up to you. I will do my best to check the YouTube live chat and also the Zoom chat once we get there. But if you do want to see the presentation as I'm going through it, you will have to go to the Zoom. I don't know how to do that on YouTube, but don't worry if you can't go to the Zoom. The presentation will be uploaded in Podia after, so you will have access to it. So don't worry if you can't get on the Zoom right now. I will be talking through everything anyway, and you'll still have access to it in your Podia once this webinar is complete, as well as this video. If that makes sense, please just give me a heart or a thumbs up in live anywhere on the chat in Zoom or on the chat in the YouTube. Actually, if anyone could just put in the chat that makes sense to them on the YouTube live that's watching, that would be super great. I can only see, I think it's just who's here. I don't know really who's here. Cool. All right. Awesome. Welcome, people that are coming into Zoom. I see you all. I'm just giving it another couple minutes. I'm not the most technically savvy person, so I'm doing my best here to be live on both of these platforms. I think it's going well so far. All right, I see Rose. If you guys just want to put in the chat that you can hear me anywhere, that would be great. If you're on the Zoom or if you're on the YouTube Live. Can't see you, Rose says. Okay, one second. Let's see. You can't see me? I think Sabina, can you see me on Zoom? Yes, okay. Rose, I think maybe it might be on your end because I think other people can see me on the Zoom. So maybe check your video settings if you want to leave and come back to, that sometimes works. I'm going to give it again another few minutes before we start, just to let everyone get all settled with technology. We'll start around 4:10. Let me know if you can see me, Rose, once you look at the settings. Awesome. Okay, yeah. Great. Let's see. Rose, can you see me now? I think she might have left to come back. Boop, boop, boop. I'm going to throw the link in the chat on YouTube one more time. Zoom link for anyone. Okay. Rose left. Okay, I'm just going to give Rose a minute and see if she's able to come back. I know it's such a tricky thing with the technology, but we'll get there, and there's always the replay. Nice glasses, Sabina. I like them. Do you pronounce your name New? Is that right? N-H-U, is that New? Am I pronouncing that right? Oh, thank you. Nice to see, well, I can't see you, but nice to have you here. I'm glad that you're here. All right, one more minute. We'll just see if Rose can come back, and then we'll get started. And everyone, like I said, will be able to watch the replay that can't make it live. Oh, great. I love Z. Z is one of my favorite peeps on this planet. She's amazing. Okay, yeah. And feel free as we're going along, if you do have a question, I'm going to leave. So I'll just start briefly, and then I'll say this again in a minute for anyone that shows up. But if at any time you have a question as we're going through, I will do my best to check the chat throughout. But do know that we will have 15 minutes or so at the end, or however long we need. Oh, good. Rose is back to answer any questions. So if for some reason during the presentation I don't see your question, you can either unmute yourself. That's totally fine. Or I will leave time at the end for questions. Rose, can you see me now?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you, yeah.
Oh, good. It's my devices. They're blinging in and out.
Got it.
I can't.
Oop.
So I'm going to try you on YouTube.
Okay, great. Yeah, and don't worry if for some reason you can't see, you can just listen, and then the presentation will be uploaded in Podia after, so you can always check it out that way.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, great. Awesome. So let's get started. So I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to ask Sabina, New, and Rose if you could just Rose probably can't see, but Sabina or New, if you can see the screen, let me know. You should see. Yes. Okay. Wonderful. All right. Let me just navigate to myself. Give me 1 second here. Wrong. Okay. Awesome. So welcome, everybody. I'm super, super excited to have you here for Feng Shui for Fertility. We're going to spend about 30 minutes going through this presentation, maybe a little less, maybe a little more. And once we go through the presentation, I'm going to leave time for questions at the end. So again, if you have a question while we're going along, you can either throw it in the chat or unmute yourself. If I don't see the chat for some reason, I will do my best to keep checking the chats throughout the presentation. But if I don't see you there for some reason, I will. We will have plenty of time at the end. So we are going to. I'm just going to give you a little brief overview of today's class. I'm just moving this thing out of the way. There we go. Okay, and. See. Okay, great. So today we're going to have a little overview of what we're going to do, which we just did, going through the presentation. Then there'll be time for questions. And then we're going to move into 3 different areas of your space that you can utilize to help optimize your fertility. And fertility is a pretty broad term. So that could be for a baby, for a human baby that you want to have, or if you're just wanting to bring in more fertility in the concept of it to your life, or if you're working on a big creative project and you're ready to launch that into the world. So it can be multifaceted, but today we're mostly going to be focusing on conception and human children. Okay. So how does this work? How does Feng Shui and fertility, how does that even work? How does working with your space help your fertility? So let me go into that a little bit. I'm going to say my own story really briefly because I think that will make the most sense. And so I am a new mom. My baby is 4 months old. She's in the other room, and I'm hoping that she makes it for this 45 minutes without me. I think she'll do great. She's with her dad. But if she does come in, that's life, right? I had been trying to conceive for over 5 years before she was conceived. and went, did all the things, went to all the doctors, all of everything, right? That happens for anyone that's in the fertility world understands without me saying much, like all of the things. And one of those things, while I was in this process, I was also learning about and studying Feng Shui. At this time, I hadn't become certified yet. I wasn't formally training, but it's always been something that was really interesting to me. I've always loved space. I've always sought to optimize my space, and I'm a sort of a home body, right? So I'm always like really wanting my home to be a certain way, feel a certain way. And I ended up working with this teacher, and I told her about the struggles that I was having with my own fertility, and she gave me some tips, and I implemented those tips. And then about a month, it was actually exactly a month almost before I conceived my daughter, my husband and I were in Las Vegas, and you'll see in a few slides from now, an elephant is a symbol of fertility in Feng Shui. We work with the elephant, specifically with their trunk down. So we'll get to that. But I had been working with an elephant, this elephant symbology for years and years and years. And always sort of when I saw an elephant, it was just like this, balm to my heart, like, okay, the child is coming. It's all going to work out, whatever it was. Or if the child doesn't come, it's all working out. And we went to Las Vegas in July of 2022. And in the hotel, they were having some sort of exhibition, and there were elephants everywhere, like these huge statues with different, art all over them. And I was just like, I don't know. I felt it. I was like, okay, this is it. And I thought I would get pregnant that month, and I didn't, but I did get pregnant the next month. So that, to me was this affirmation that some of the Feng Shui practices that I was doing were really having an impact, both in reality of manifesting this child that I wanted. But again, also, I think that whatever you're trying to birth into the world, part of it is just about allowing yourself to believe that it's coming, whatever it ends up looking like, whether that ends up looking like a child or whether that ends up looking like something else, because it can be such a mental struggle and so disheartening, and there can be a lot of grief. So having these things that you can do in your home, to me, whether there's, it's sort of irrelevant whether it actually worked or not, because it helped me feel confident, and it helped me feel like there was something within my quote unquote control. And so that's sort of where this class was born from, is helping people that are in the same scenario feel that as well. And that's what I really hope for you today. So our homes can be a living vision board for our lives. That's sort of a principle that I work with Feng Shui a lot, that your home is this canvas that you have to express what you want to see manifest within your own life. I'm just taking a moment to check the chats. Checking the chats. We're all good. I don't see anything in the chats. Okay. And an outer representation of our inner world. So that works both ways, right? When after this class, you might walk around your home and think like, what is my home telling me about what's going on inside of myself? Is there a lot of clutter? Are there things that are broken that I haven't been attending to? Is there, or is my house looking great? Am I bringing in fresh flowers all the time? And I walk into my house and I feel amazing, and it feels amazing. So it can work both ways. You can use it to express what you want to bring into your life, and it can also show you where you might be at. What is that telling you? Like when you look at your home, what is that telling you about what's going on in your inner world? Oh, Sabina, you're also very hard on yourself. Sabina is my friend, and I know her well. So she says she's messy, and I know that maybe that's true, but also she's very hard on herself, right? Okay, so let's move to the center. So now so in Feng Shui, and I'm not going to go into this in depth today because it's for another time, but there's this map that we call the Bagua map. The Bagua map is a map of 9 life areas, and it's used heavily in Feng Shui. It's not the only way to work with Feng Shui, but it's a very popular way. If you Google it, which I don't recommend, you're going to see a lot about the Bagua map. But today it doesn't really matter. We're going to work with an area of areas of the home that you're going to be able to find no map or map. But some of the principles that I'm introducing are in alignment with what those specific life areas on the map mean, if that makes sense. So first, we're going to talk about the center. So the center of your home is very important in Feng Shui. It's where all the 9 life areas touch. So you can picture the 9 life areas like a tic-tac-toe board, and every single square touches the center. So the center of your home. Oh, cool, New. Thank you. That's interesting. New says that Bagua also has application in martial arts. Yeah. And, it's all related, right? All these ancient Chinese practices or Asian practices are related, right? So that makes sense. So the center really represents your health. And so when we're working with something that's of the body, whether that's a creative project or in our case, and I'm going to stop saying that for now because you all know that it can be applied to that. I'm going to stick with what we think of when we think of fertility normally, which is children. When we're working with anything that has to do with the physical body, we always want to look at the center of our homes. And that's literally just the center. So if you were to either, walk in your house, you can kind of feel out where the center is, or if you wanted to look at a floor plan, if you have one, you can locate the center. And just that area is really what we're talking about when we're talking about the center. So here are some things that you want to look for in the center of your home. You want to make sure that it feels warm. And this is actually true for your whole house. So Sabina, in some ways, mess isn't that out of alignment with fertility. In a way, we'll get there, because what you really don't want. So Feng Shui is very metaphorical, right? There's a lot of metaphor. So when you think about being fertile, you think about abundance, and you think about, feeling provided for and feeling fertile, right? And sterile is the opposite of that. So we don't want our homes to feel cold. We don't want anything. Rose, I see your question. I will read it in 1 second. We don't want anything especially in the center of our homes, to feel sterile, cold. Those are the words that are coming to mind. So we want them to feel warm, inviting, like inviting to the spirit of a child, or just in general, inviting and warm. And ways to warm up your home, if you're feeling like this is something that might not be true for you, bring fresh flowers in. If you like flowers, bring fresh flowers and put them in the center of your home, or put them in your kitchen, or any space that you see a lot. Light a candle in your home. That's bringing in that fire energy, that warmth, especially now in the Northern Hemisphere, as we're getting into more of a wintry season. That can be a really nice practice. A red candle would be the utmost Feng Shui, because red is a lifeblood in Feng Shui. So for lighting a red candle, it's like fire on fire. Let me check the chat here. What if it's the bathroom? Rose, if it's the bathroom, no worries at all. It's not a problem. My suggestions would be to keep the bathroom door closed and to keep the toilet seat down. Those are 2 ways that you can really minimize that draining effect that a lot of people freak out about in Feng Shui about bathrooms. Those are 2 really easy ways. And also we're not going to get too into this because it's a little more detailed, but people usually have towels in their bathroom and bath mats in their bathroom. And those are all earth element, and they're really counteracting the water. So totally not a problem, but definitely do, if you can, keep the door closed and keep your toilet seat down. In general, you should always keep your toilet seat down in Feng Shui, because we don't want our resources going down the drain. All right, let's keep going. So the other thing that is really at home in the center of your home is the yin yang symbol. So there's a couple ways you can work with it. And yin yang represents balance, right? It represents the dark and the light, the cold and the hot, all the different things of opposites that are in our world. So there's one transcendental way you can work with this, which is to actually take a visual of the yin yang symbol. You can print it out on the computer. It doesn't have to be fancy. And put it in a red envelope, or any envelope, ideally red, and just place it somewhere in the center of your home. It doesn't have to be seen. It could be in a book, or if it's in the bathroom, it could be in a drawer, or it can be under a rug, or it could be anywhere. And that's bringing in that concept of balanced chi, balanced energy into the center of your home. I love doing that. You do want to sort of check on that symbol once a year, just to give it a little life and not have it be there 10 years later collecting dust, but you don't have to do anything with it once it's placed. Okay, checking the chat. All right, go away, you. So do I do all this in the bathroom? Yes, so far, Rose, if your bathroom is in the center of your house, then absolutely you could do this in the bathroom. Lighting candles in the bathroom is also great. Another way to counteract that water is to add fire. So that's wonderful. But, the way I work with Feng Shui is I really lean into and trust what feels right to the person that I'm working with. So if you're feeling like, yeah, technically the bathroom is the center of my house, but I really feel like I want to apply what Cody's saying to my kitchen because that feels like the center of the home to me. That feels like where this needs to go. Go with that. Your intuition always trumps everything. Okay. So here is a space that you do want to, let's talk about clutter really quickly. So again, totally other class to go into clutter. There's a lot to go into there. But in general, one of the things we want to think about is making space for the baby. We want to make, or the project. I'm going to keep doing this, but I'm going to try and stick to saying baby. Making space in general in your home. Envisioning like, where would they live? Where would their stuff go? Where would this and that? So if there's clutter in the center of your home, you don't have to get rid of it, but just sort of take a look at it. Like, is there something that I could maybe release? Like what could I release to make space for this new energy that I want in my environment? If you are into cleansing rituals, one thing that's really, really at home in the center of your home is the sandalwood. So you could burn some sandalwood if you're into that. In terms of crystals, if you're into crystals, tiger's eye is the recommended crystal for the center of the home. So you could add a piece of tiger's eye. And the other thing you want to do is you want to make sure that earth is present. So again, we could have a whole webinar, and maybe I will one day, I probably will, on the different elements and how they work within the home. But just simply, let's just keep it simple. You want to just have one thing in the center of your home that represents earth. So for example, this could be a rug or a bath mat if it's in the bathroom, or it could be a rock that you found at a hike that you went on, or it could be, a picture of a mountain, or it could be anything heavy. So any one of these things, just a small nod to represent earth. And the other thing I want to say is that a lot of times when people, if this is your first foray into Feng Shui, people tend to like want to go all out and do everything, right? And feel like, oh my God, I have to move all my furniture. I have to get rid of all my stuff. I have to clean up all my clutter. I have to fix everything. And my best advice is to just do small actions. Like I just gave you probably 7 different things that you could do in the center of your home. I would just choose one of them and just do one, and then give it some time. Give it a week, give it 10 days. If you want to be super feng shui about it, give it 9 days or any multiple of 9 and 27 days, and see how that feels. And then take the next action. Once you start working with your home, my teacher said this, and it's so true, and it takes time to see the truth in this, but it is really true. It starts working with you. It starts speaking to you. So once you start making these small adjustments, just listen and see like, okay, I started lighting a candle every day and that feels really good. And now I want to deal with this corner of clutter that's really annoying me. Or now I want to add some sandalwood to my candle ritual, whatever it is. So just slow and steady. And those are the kinds of changes that really have an impact. All right, moving on. We're going to move to the bedroom. So when we're speaking of fertility, we have to look at the bedroom because that's where copulation normally happens, right? And or if whether you're having sex to have a baby or you're doing some sort of different type of fertilization, the bedroom is associated with this area of our lives. So let's take a look at the bedroom. So here's just some recommendations for fertility specifically in the bedroom. So you're going to want to do a clean of your bedroom, a deep clean, ideally, of your bedroom. And as you're doing this clean, you want to shift some things around. Now, this can be very small. This could be moving your bed an inch. This can be if you have 2 nightstands, swapping them if you have a partner, or it could be changing what's on your nightstand. Anything that you can just shift slightly, really slightly. And as you're doing this, you're holding in your heart the intention, like I am arranging this space to bring in this child that I want. And you're holding this in your heart and you're feeling what that would feel like to feel this child in your body or in your partner's body. And to have this manifest, how would that feel? And you're moving things, you're doing it with this intention. So this is sort of a sacred moment, or it's not just cleaning. You're clean under your bed if you have the ability to get under your bed. If you do keep stuff under your bed and you can switch that to being soft things and nothing hard, that would be ideal. Ideally, you want nothing under your bed, but I know, like, especially if you live in a city or you live in a small space, and you have to keep stuff under your bed, that's fine, but try and make it like sweaters or blankets or some stuff that's soft. And as you're doing this, you're really holding that intention in your heart. And when you're done, feel that completion. Like, okay, I've moved things around. This is the energy. This is the bedroom that this child is going to come into my life into. And then do not disturb that energy again. So don't dust under your bed. Don't vacuum under your bed. You can vacuum around and, you don't want to let it like get really dusty. You can dust, you can vacuum, but don't change the energy again until new information appears or you've become pregnant. So the fruition of your desire has happened. So we talked about under the bed. That's important. If you do feel so inspired and you do have the budget, get some new bedding. Ideally, they would be green. Green is the color of fertility. It symbolizes wood, spring, new beginnings. So you could either get new green sheets or you could get like a green throw blanket, or if green's not your color, just whatever feels good. If you do have it within your budget, within your desire to get some really luxe, beautiful bed sheets that make you feel really good and, fertile and juicy, go for it. That would be amazing. But again, it's not necessary. Nothing in this class requires you to buy anything. It's all working with what you already have. Of course, if there's desire there, then go for it. But it doesn't require you to add anything to your home that's not already there. Okay, what does my lady say? I don't have an under the bed. Yeah, that's totally fine. No worries. Totally fine. I would say if you can, if you do decide to do this clean, Sabina, and you can kind of just lift your mattress up for like a few hours and let it air out and sort of like circulate, that would be really good. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay, good. All right. Let's see. And again, the same thing, like watch for accumulation. Is there space for baby? That's a question to ask yourself when it comes to clutter. Not like, oh my God, clutter, terrible. None of that. Just like, is there space in my life right now for baby? Do I have space for this child? And that could be in your heart too. It doesn't have to be, in your clutter. It can be like, am I making space in my life for this baby? Okay. All right. Speaking of sacred space. So I placed this last because I know everyone has different feelings about sacred space and about altars and all this stuff. And I want to say that this is no religious affiliation at all. If that's for you, then wonderful. Work with whatever deity or energy that appeals to you. But there is absolutely no religious affiliation in what I'm about to say. It's for all people. So if this feels good to you, creating an altar in your space for this baby, for this creation that you want to bring forth, is a really powerful action. It doesn't have to be complicated. It could be, I did it in one of our apartments, and it was just like, I don't know, a drawer. Like it was just a drawer that I put specific things into. And what you want to fill into this place is things that represent your desire. So things that represent baby. So you could I bought like a little stuffed animal, like a sweet little stuffed animal. You could write a letter to this baby and put it there. White flowers are very auspicious for fertility in Feng Shui. And this is also where I'm going to talk about the elephant. So if flowers are your thing, if you love flowers, then bringing white, fresh flowers into this area every now and again, doesn't have to be daily or weekly or monthly, but just every now and again can be wonderful. And here you can see on the slide that there is an elephant with their trunk down. So in Feng Shui, an elephant with their trunk down is the symbol of fertility. So you could, if you have a little elephant statue, you could place it there, or you could draw a picture of an elephant or print one off the internet and place it in your altar. Anything that represents this creation to you is what you want to place in this area. And go there daily if you can. Spend 30 seconds, spend a minute just, saying, I'm making space for this child in my heart and in my home. Whatever, you don't have to use these words, but and this is that visualization for you. And again, this is really meant as that balm to your heart, as that affirmation that the object of your desire is coming, and your home is helping you with this, and you're a participant in this. The other thing you could do is get a baby plant. So again, remember, Feng Shui is very metaphorical. So anything that sort of says baby is, working with you or for you here. So get a tiny baby plant and tend to it and watch it grow. One of the things that I think what I did was those pothos plants that like they vine everywhere, right? I did a cutting of one of those and watched, put it in the soil and watched it grow. And so you could nurture anything you could nurture. Like nurture is also associated with this, right? So you can nurture a baby plant, or you could nurture a chia pet if you were born in the 90s in the United States of America, or you could anything that says nurturing and that you can tend to, right? That you can care for. This could be your animal, right? This could be your animal familiar in your space that you're tending to. And it's really just about bringing this intention in, right? Bringing this intention of baby into your space, letting your space know like, hey, this is where we're going. This is the direction, right? Is really the goal of all of this. So let's see. I just want to see if there's anything else. If you're familiar with the Bhagwan map, I don't want to confuse anyone. I see your question, New. Thank you. If you're familiar with the Bhagwan map, you can put your altar in your children and creativity area. If you're not familiar, but you're like, I really want to put it there, it feels really right, just reach out to me after this class. I'll help you find it in your house. But I don't want to confuse everybody and start like putting a map on the screen and trying to everyone to figure it out. But that would be the space to place this altar in the Bhagwan map if you're interested. Okay. So what do you think about aquariums? Where's the best place to put it? I need a little more information. What is your intention? Like, what are you thinking with the aquarium? Like just in general, or like in relation to fertility, or like, is it feel off to you? Go if you want to unmute yourself. We're done now. So we can go deeper into your question.
Yes, I'm thinking about in relations with fertility, not related to human baby, but with projects or like financial abundance in general.
And where is the aquarium now, or is it something that you're wanting?
It's now in my bedroom.
And okay, in your bedroom. And what else is it? So let me explain why I'm asking you this question. So aquariums are great. They're wonderful. If you love them, you love them, right? They're a water energy, right? So if there would be quote unquote an issue with it, it would just be if your bedroom had an abundance of water already and you were adding more water, that could be a little draining, right? So if your bedroom has blue walls and like an art that has a swirly shape above your bed and your sheets are blue and, you have water by your nightstand all the time and, everything's a circle, that kind of thing. Is there any of that going on in your bedroom?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Yeah. So
I think it's only the water in the aquarium itself that belongs to the water elements.
Great. So here's what I would say also is just pay attention. So if you have this aquarium, there's obviously something that's, what's the word? Like it's making you think, right? There's something in this for you. So pay attention to if you're waking up feeling drained, or if everything feels really scattered in your life, or if you feel like finances are being drained, or you feel like your relationships are being drained. If anything's feeling draining or drained, or like too watery, murky, not clear, move it to a different space in your house and see if that helps. That's, sometimes with Feng Shui, a lot of times with Feng Shui, it's trial and error because everyone's different. Every home is different. There's so much that goes into a home and there's so much, the land chi and where you're located and where your house is. So I would just say, if none of these things are occurring, then it's perfect where it is. And if these things are occurring, move it and see if that makes an impact. Does that make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
Awesome.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so we have a little time. If anyone else has any specific questions about their situation or anything in general, I am here and yours for, the next couple minutes. And you can unmute or you can write in the chat, whatever you'd like. Okay. Amazing. Let's see. I'm just checking the YouTube here. It's just me in the YouTube, so I think we're good. I don't think I have any questions for myself. So on the screen right now, wait, have you guys only been seeing this Feng Shui for fertility screen? Have you been seeing nothing else?
Yes, just
Oh
that
my
screen.
goodness, that's terrible. Hold on. So now you can see this, right?
Yes.
Questions? Okay. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why it wasn't playing, but nothing. The slides were really mostly for me. There was no like pertinent information on them. I talked through everything. So that will be in Podia if you're interested in seeing, but you know, it didn't have any information. It just said like the center or whatever it was that we were talking about. So I apologize about that. But this one, if you do want to go deeper, if there's no questions that you have right now, but you get off of this and you're like, you know, I really would like to, I see your question, babe. I really would like to do a full consultation on my home and not only look at fertility, look at some other goals that I have. This is how to find me. If you have questions that come up related to the webinar after the webinar, I'm available to you. I will put my Instagram handle in the chat and also my email, which I think you all should have anyway. Or you could write a message on Podia. Find me however you'd like, and please feel free to reach out. I'm always available for questions. So let me just do that. Let me just answer Sabina's question. But if you did want to go in a more structured way, you can check out my website. I have a lot of different offerings around Feng Shui there. Related to finances, this is Sabina's question. What if you fear because finances are draining that you don't have room for a baby because of that? I hear you. What if you, okay, got it. So I would say that working with the fire element and the earth element are going to be your friend in this, right? Because earth is going to help you feel more stable and more grounded and feeling like, okay, this might be my reality right now, but babies bring their own magic and babies bring their own solutions. And whatever, you know, however many months from now, 9 or more, that this occurs, I will be in a different place and I will be grounded and stable and figuring it out for there. So that would be my first thing is, and you can go back to some of the earth elements, right? Like rugs, rocks, heavy things that represent earth. And do you have anything over your bed, Sabina? Like, are you sleeping underneath anything?
I have like a dream catcher hanging on the off of my fire thingy. And then I guess I have the vent, like a big gray like tube, like aluminum tube where the heating comes out of. Yeah.
I would experiment with taking the dream catcher down or putting it in a different location, because what comes to me instantly is this fear of something like hanging over you, right? Like, I don't know if that relates to you, but just like, it just feels like this heaviness almost of this like drain hanging over you. So just experiment with that. And also, do you have any kind of leaks in your house? Like, is anything leaky?
Yeah, we have, I mean, the area that goes to our deck when it rains leaks.
Okay. If that can be fixed, awesome.
Okay.
If it cannot be fixed, don't worry. Just like put some earth there. So put some rocks around that area if you can, if Loha would be okay with that. Or put a mat, put like a welcome mat or something that's really bright and shiny, like right as you're going into the deck area. I can't remember what that looks like in your space, but anything that is gonna like hold down the fort. So really just, I wanted to for you to think about like anything that's going to make you feel more grounded and make you feel more like feet on the earth. And then I would say candles are going to be, if you're into candles, are going to be your friend. And if you're not into candles, then the color red, like adding a little pop of red here or there, like anything fire to just, because I also know, I know Sabina, so everyone forgive me being a little more personal, but I know that winter is a tough season for you. So anything that you can do to make yourself feel like that fire energy, that warmth. And we can also talk about this ad nauseum later.
Okay.
Does that answer your question? Is that helpful?
Yes, it does. And with the bathroom, because you said the bathroom door should always be closed.
Yeah.
I can't close my bathroom door because my dog has to go in there.
I know. That's okay. Just keep the toilet seat down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Tell Mike.
I will.
Yeah. And you can keep it like partially closed, right? Like you don't have to keep it like fully open. Like she can get in through like so yeah. Yeah. And that's the thing, like just for everybody, there's no one lives in like a perfect feng shui house. Nobody. Like unless you've like built it from scratch on a mountain in China. Like you've not done, no one lives in a perfect feng shui house. So, and that's totally fine. Like that's just how it is, and we work with what we have, and nothing's ever going to be perfect, and it's meant to be that way. It's meant to be a process and an evolution. So that's why I really just encourage you to go slow. You know, there's probably one thing or two things that stuck out to you that you like felt when I was speaking, like, oh yeah, I want to do that. Do those things that really felt like a yes to you. And any fears that come up, just, you can reach out to me, or you can just remind yourself that like this is feng shui is a process. It's an evolution. It's not something you do once and then your house is feng shui. Like you always are working with the energy of your home. So you're beginning, if this is your first webinar or class or foray into feng shui, you're beginning a relationship with your space, and that's really beautiful. And that will take time, and that will evolve. And maybe you get very interested, or maybe you just do these couple things and that feels good, or no matter what happens, it's just you're inviting your space to be a part of your life in a different way, a living part of your life in a different way. And I'm here for you. I love feng shui. I'm a total nerd when it comes to it. Ask me all the questions, and stay connected however you like. And yeah, if anyone, I'm going to stay on for another few minutes. If anyone has any questions, I'm going to put my my Instagram handle in the chat, which is a good way to reach me. And also I'm going to put my personal email in the chat, which is another good way to reach me. But yeah, if anyone doesn't have any questions, it was really nice spending time with you guys. I will upload this video to Podia, so you can go back and reference it. I will also upload the presentation that you didn't see to Podia. Again, there wasn't anything you missed. I said everything out loud. So thank you so much. Stop sharing that. All right. Yay. Thanks, New. It was nice to virtually meet you. And thank you for being here, Rose. I hope that you were able to hear me. It's funny that because you didn't end up missing anything visually anyway. Okay, let's end that. Dude.